Nissan, 77 Commerce Drive in Orillia, Ontario. Hey folks, this is Riley for Car Clips Canada. Today I'm pleased to bring you an in-depth guide and tour to the 2012 Nissan Juke SL all-wheel drive. As in past videos, we'll take a walk around the outside of the vehicle. I'll make some commentary on the styling and highlight some of the finer points that may go unnoticed at first. And as always, I'll provide you guys with a tour of the inside. We'll turn on the instruments and get an exhaust clip. And at the end of the video, I'll provide you with a small annotation of what my final thoughts are. So, let's take a look. Well, obviously at first glance, the Nissan Juke is not a conservatively styled vehicle. Nissan really took a liberal front at making this car look good. And I mean, there are many opinions floating around, but this is certainly a vehicle that I think is actually great looking. I love the design, and I love the whole theory of having kind of a sport crossover. So walking around the side here, the small little LED turn signal, and a very curved sloping back there, with the taillights fully integrated into the wheel arch, which is a nice touch. Moving around the back, left side exhaust, and of course the model, which is the SL all-wheel drive. And this vehicle does have torque vectoring all-wheel drive, which I'll cover a little later. The Juke does come with 17-inch split 5-spoke aluminum alloy wheels with 11.5-inch disc brakes at the back and 11.7-inch disc brakes at the front. Well, I note there is a kind of a rubberized underlay there, right all along the bottom perimeter of the car. Coming up back front, notice these very narrow turn signals and running lights, with the main headlights actually right down here in the front bumper, and the fog lights down below that. The front grille of the Juke is finished in kind of this oval pattern honeycomb, with the Nissan logo sitting finished in chrome on top of a kind of a fan backsplash there, which is very nice. This particular Juke SL is finished in the Glacier Pearl paint finish, with the black and red leather interior. And just before we take a step inside here, I just want to highlight this vehicle does have a wireless access system, the key fob. Right now it's unlocked, so you simply push the button there and it will lock, and push it again as long as you have the key fob within range. It will also unlock. The key fob itself is very simplistic. There is a lock, unlock, and a panic button. So let's take a hop inside. And in acknowledging the style of the door here, the majority of it is composed of this kind of very durable rubberized PCB plastic running all the way around. Also a plastic inlay there with the lock, unlock, and all 4 function automatic window buttons. And this kind of a nice fabric inlay with the door handle resting right above those button functions. The handle itself is actually quite detailed, finished in a nice chrome. Okay, and on that note, here we are inside, and let's get it started up. Again, this vehicle does have a push button ignition. Simply have the key fob in the car itself or on your person. You can go pretty much anywhere. Foot on the brake, and the start and stop button is located right there. So we hit that. Very nice. First things first, just noticing the steering wheel here, it is kind of a 3-spoke arrangement with solid and pinhole leather and modest side bolstering grip extensions right there. And of course this vehicle does come standard with cruise control, Bluetooth operations, as well as the guides to operating the audio system. And from that point, we acknowledge the styling of the seats here. As I mentioned, is the black and red leather combo with pinhole leather insets there on the lower lumbar and seat, as well as kind of a red baseball stitching of the side bolstering of the chair itself, as well as the headrest. And similar patterns can be found in the back. I'm just going to go over the center console here, because there's a few things I think I'd really like to highlight. Starting at the very bottom here, there's a large storage compartment there for either cups or keys or other miscellaneous things that we have in our lives, cell phones, etc. Both the seats do have low and high temperature settings for the winter. Obviously, that does become quite necessary in Canada. 2 cup holders, and one thing I really want to highlight here is this kind of a piece of architecture here. This was modeled after a high-performance sport bike. That was the inspiration for this design. And me being a big bike fan, that's something I do actually rather like quite a lot. This obviously would be the gas tank portion of the sport bike. I thought that was a very interesting little piece of design there. And you also acknowledge there's also the auxiliary port, as well as the USB port adapter. And this Nissan Juke SL all-wheel drive does have an automatic 6-speed gearbox with a continuously, what's called the CVT, continuously variable transmission, with of course the staple park, reverse, neutral, and drive functions. And then this vehicle also does have select all-wheel drive. And this Nissan Juke does have 2-wheel drive, select all-wheel drive, as well as the torque vectoring all-wheel drive. And what that means is the vehicle will actually transfer power from the engine laterally from left to right, and not just between the 2 front and back axles, meaning that it will differentiate power between the 2 back wheels at different rates. And right above that, you'll notice there's also the key arrangement here for adjusting the position of the side mirrors on the driver and passenger side of the vehicle. So, and by adjusting to the right, down, and of course up. The instrument panel itself is actually very nice, kind of outlined in like a brushed aluminum finish there. Nissan has a habit of making the instrument panel look very sporty in nature, with a nice kind of a rubberized PCB plastic visor over top of it, which is a nice touch. And I've always rather liked them. Very nice feel, very deep, preventing any glare from the windows, and very well illuminated as well. Another nice feature of the Juke, which many small compact SUVs do not have, is obviously it does have a fully electric sunroof, which is rather nice. Moves at a good speed too. And to close it, very good. And just taking a look at the entertainment and climate control console here, the vehicle does have a solo climate control, which I have running right now because it is rather hot out. The Juke SL does also come with a very nice touchscreen navigation and entertainment system. Selecting nav there, and I can simply go to destination and then take a look at the map. It does provide a very nice bird's eye view. Moving back over to the CD function. And obviously this vehicle does have full AM/FM capabilities, as well as satellite XM radio, CD, and the auxiliary port, which I mentioned earlier, for which you can integrate an iPod or mobile device with music on it to your liking. 4-way button, front and center. And then obviously there's also the classic examples of the volume toggle. as well as the select and scroll button, or dial rather, with 6 presets down below. And taking a second glance at the climate control console here, it's a very similar scenario for many cars. There's a fan speed on the right, increasing and decreasing, as well as the different optimal fan directions. And on the left side, there is the automatic air conditioning, which you can activate by simply depressing like that, as well as adjusting the temperature to your liking by going left or right. When we look at the icon control console here, there's some very neat features that I overlooked at first. In the normal setting, you'll see there is, that I come up here, there is a small little meter there to indicate the engine torque, as well as the battery charge, and a small little annotation at the bottom there indicating the current cabin temperature, as well as the fact that the air conditioning is running with the fan speed activated. Selecting Sport. You'll notice that there is a small boost gauge for the turbine supercharger, and as Eco, this function will track your driving habits, providing you averages with regards to your vehicle's fuel economy. Very nice feature that. I rather like this little computer system a lot. Okay, and at this point in the video, I think I'll just hop in the back seat there and give you guys a good idea what life is like in the back. This being a compact size SUV, or rather a sport cross, hoping for a fairly reasonable amount of room. So, fingers crossed. Okay, just entering the back here, you notice the door lever is not in its traditional spot. That is taken up by the wheel arch. It's up here in the right hand corner, so let's pull that. And then we step. Just taking a look around, and one of the things I was quite hesitant about was the amount of headroom in this car, given its sloping back. As you can see, there's been kind of a manipulation there, kind of an indentation, specifically for that reason, I would imagine, so that tall people are not irritated by the lack of headroom. So I'm about 6'1", and I'm actually quite comfortable back here. And again, the door is sharing very similar attributes to the front driver and passenger side door, albeit far more narrow in design. Taking another look around. For a compact SUV, I'm actually quite very comfortable back here, actually. I mean, any more desired legroom could certainly be accomplished by moving the 2 front seats forward, for which I have adjusted to almost their maximum setting. Seats are comfortable, offer good support. Just taking a look at the back window. Very nice. On that note, actually, I think I'll take a look and just see how much trunk space there is in the back. So we will hop out. And to gain access to the rear hatch of the Juke, and have a look under the license plate still there. And there's a little touch-sensitive pad. So we're going to depress that. And the hatch itself opens. Held up by not 1, but 2. Hydraulic gas struts, very nice, and certainly enough trunk space to compare to any large family sedan. Very nice, and a very nice sporty audio subwoofer in the back here on the left side. Okay, and at this point, we'll take a look under the hood, and I'll tell you a little bit about the engine and the drivetrain, and what some of the key features that really make this car unique from its competitors. So, there we go, hood's up. The 2012 Nissan Juke SL all-wheel drive is endowed with a 1.6-liter direct injection gasoline engine with direct overhead cams. This 4-cylinder engine does have 16 valves, 4 per cylinder, and is coupled with a high-pressure turbine supercharger, or turbocharger as they're more commonly known. The turbo in this car really became a focal point in Nissan marketing this car. The little turbo will spool such that it does create quite a noticeable amount of boost. This car is very peppy to drive, it's very quick, very agile. But when that kind of driving isn't necessarily in order, the fan speed will slow so that the engine does sip gas actually very economically. The Canadian Energy Guide rates this vehicle at 43 miles to the gallon highway and 35 miles to the gallon city, which, given the vehicle's size, the fact that it is an all-wheel drive compact SUV is actually quite impressive. Translated to Canadian, the metric scale translation for that is 8 liters per 100 kilometers city and 6.6 liters per 100 kilometers highway. At 5,600 RPMs, this little engine at the crank will produce 188 horsepower and 177 foot-pounds of torque between 2,000 and 5,200 RPMs. I know one of the things that consumers are going to be concerned about with regards to the Nissan Juke is just how much space is available, given the fact it is a compact SUV. So we'll take a look at how to fold down the back seats, and I'll give you an idea of what the maximum potential trunk space is for this car. So we're going to approach the rear door here. So open it up again. The headrests have to be taken off. So simply lean the seat forward. There's a little button right there at the base. You're going to just depress that, push it in, and push the headrest up, and off it comes. Maybe perhaps store that in the footwell, and then by pulling these little mushroom-shaped levers up, you'll be able to push the whole bench down like that, and similar can be done with the other side. And once again, on the passenger side of the car here, just notice after taking the headrest off, obviously, have it in the footwell, pull the little mushroom-shaped lever up, and fold the bench forward. And that should give you a better idea of how much space that the Juke is capable of offering. During my first year at university, I remember seeing this vehicle advertised on billboards around campus, and I was actually rather taken with the styling. I realize it's very liberal in its looks, but I've always been very partial to it. I mean, as I demonstrated, the motorcycle-themed center console is obviously a very interesting take on how to design a car. Even at the front, I mean, having the headlamps fully integrated into the bumper like that, with these very sleek drawn turn signals and running lights, I really have no problem with it at all. I like it quite a lot. Of all the Japanese makes, Nissan has been known to kind of make their vehicles a little more sporty, a little more peppy, and they certainly went the route of appealing to a younger consumer demographic when designing this vehicle. The extra performance given from the turbocharged 4-cylinder is kind of the X factor, what a lot of young consumers are looking for these days, with the same versatility of a large hatchback or even a small SUV. Really makes it quite an appealing concept indeed. This particular Nissan Juke SL all-wheel drive, given its trim level and optional specification, brings the total MSRP, including freight and delivery, to $31,273 Canadian. Applicable taxes are obviously additional to that. I certainly hope you all enjoyed this video. To come and see this Nissan Juke in person or book a test drive, simply contact Experience Nissan at 77 Commerce Road in Orillia, Ontario. Take care, guys.